This is vlog 1, skills and capacity in the weight room, where I'll be looking at the squat and Romanian deadlift. I'll be showing athletes that either lack the skill to perform the exercise efficiently or they demonstrate a capacity problem. During this vlog, I'll be analysing each of the exercises, highlighting and identifying issues and whether they're due to skill or capacity problems, corrective exercises that could be used alongside alternative exercises the athlete may find easier and aid them in forming the initial skill. The first athlete is Karen, who is performing a goblet squat. She is a 56-year-old who has only just started at the gym this year, so is still a beginner when it comes to weight training. She was also involved in an accident where she broke her ankle, so has a limited range of motion on the affected right side. This athlete shows a lack of skill when performing the exercise. As you can see from this demonstration, the athlete lacks depth and range of motion and reaches ankle dorsiflexion relatively early on. This increases the hip flexion she has to create to help achieve a greater depth, increasing the forward lean we can see in the video. This is highlighted by an acute torso angle of 70 and the shin angle of 90. This suggests that she may have some motor control issues present, resulting in this lack of depth and forward lean. I also got her to complete some single leg lunges to see if there was a stability problem on her injured side. As you can see from this video, she loses her balance during the lunge on her right hand side, highlighting instability that she has and the asymmetry she is experiencing between her left and right hand side. This isn't unusual as imbalance often occurs as a result of prior injuries. It's also important to check there isn't any underlying capacity issues, so the athlete carried out a knee to wall movement test, where the results showed she could get to 8 centimetres on her right and 10 centimetres on her left, which aren't overly impressive but expected given her injury history. Corrective exercises should be focused around the ankle and the hip where the main issues have been identified. This could include mobility exercises and foam rolling to increase the upright position that we should see in a squat, glute bridges, ankle grind isometric holds, and hamstring bridges to help increase the strength in these identified areas. A hex bar deadlift would provide the athlete with a bilateral alternative to the normal back squat, as it provides some knee flexion and quadricep development, but has a higher emphasis on glute and back development as seen during a squat. This also reduces the stress placed on the lumbar spine, shown to aid with greater long-term development and injury resilience. Split squats also provide a good unilateral alternative to help with these asymmetry problems. This focus will improve the asymmetry, reducing the effect it has on the movement pattern and allowing for exercise progression to occur. With this athlete, we also placed squat wedges under her ankles. Novice squatters tend to fall forwards when they squat, and wedges help you stay upright, allowing her to train with the correct form. They also help her drive her knees forward and increase the squat depth without increasing her risk of injury. These will allow her to keep her form while protecting her ankles and improving ankle and hip mobility. Cues like drive your knees outwards as you come up from the squat and keep your knees in line with your toes were used to help correct her technique throughout the exercise. The second athlete is Dan, who is performing a back squat. Dan is a 24-year-old strength and conditioning coach at a football club, so has an advanced training age, having well over 5 years of weight training experience. He has the skill but lacks some of the capacity needed to perform a loaded back squat. He has good mobility as he can reach a good depth during the squat, as he is able to break parallel with his hips going below his knees. This skill is reinforced by the video from behind, as there is no knee valgus occurring. However, he has got some strength issues, causing tucking to occur at the end of the descent phase. This gets worse as the barbell becomes loaded. Tucking, also known as a butt wink, is the posterior tilt of the pelvis that occurs towards the bottom of a squat and happens when the lumbar spine rounds slightly and goes into flexion. Failing to hold a neutral spine at the bottom of the squat and letting the pelvis tilt increases the loading on the spine, which may increase the risk of SI joint issues. Stability and mobility issues are common causes of this. To assess if this is a mobility restriction, the athlete can start in a quadruped position on the floor and rock back towards the heels, or perform a horizontal squat. This shows what happens at the ankles, knees and hips in a deep squat and is indicative of not having significant mobility restrictions. Stability can be assessed by performing a bodyweight squat and identifying at which point the tuck occurs, and then doing the same while holding a weight out in front and observing if this stops or improves the tuck. If it disappears when holding the plate, then the athlete has a stability issue. If after these two tests there is no improvement, it may indicate that there is a structural issue at the hip joint. In this case, we have identified that there is a stability restriction, as his heels also slightly raise at the end of the squat. So key areas to focus on are ankle mobility, hip mobility and thoracic mobility. Exercises such as cat and camel, thread the needle, hip 90-90s and ankle plantar and dorsiflexion will help improve these. In this third video, we can see Dan completing a Romanian deadlift. The athlete demonstrates a skill issue. Up until the bar reaches the athlete's knees, the overall technique is good, as the bar path is close to his body and his spine is in a neutral position. But as the bar extends below his knees, he loses some of the thoracic control, causing some rounding to occur, and the bar path to deviate away from his body, losing some of the overall control. Following this testing, we can carry out some mobility capacity tests to identify any issues that may be occurring in the thoracic and lumbar region. We can look at scapular retraction and the athlete's ability to keep their back close to the wall. Finally, we can look at a cat and camel stretch and their ability to maintain a neutral spine during static stretching. Holding a dowel behind your head and back with both hands and ensuring that your back stays in contact with the rod and shins stay vertical to the floor helps the spine stay nice and neutral throughout the movement. A cue of trapping a coin between the athlete's shoulder blades could also aid in helping maintain the neutral spine when they get past the knees. These regressions will help the athlete to maintain good posture throughout the movement, preventing the slight thoracic rounding from occurring. In the fourth clip, we can see the athlete completing a Romanian deadlift. With only the bar, the athlete demonstrates good skill and technique as they're able to keep the bar close to their body, the scapulars are retracted and they're keeping their spine in a neutral position. But as the athlete adds weight to the lift, they lose their ability to maintain thoracic and lumbar control. As she descends into the hinge, rounding starts to occur at the lower spine, demonstrating excessive spinal flexion, and she is unable to maintain scapular retraction. As she is able to perform the exercise well without external load, this indicates that she may have a core, strength or mobility issue, causing this capacity problem to occur. Following this analysis, capacity tests, such as looking at a quadruped rocking movement, can be used. From this, we're able to see excessive spinal flexion occurring, and the use of a scapular retraction test showed she couldn't keep her core engaged throughout. Corrective exercises that therefore could be used would focus around increasing lumbar and thoracic mobility. These exercises include things such as cat-camel, foam rolling, spine lumbar rotation, alongside anti-extension exercises such as a dead bug with a single leg lower, heel slide, and leg lowering, as these all translate into RDL performance. These have all been shown to help increase the functional ability and muscular endurance of local muscles in the spine. From this video, we can see that skill and capacity issues are by no means exclusive. However, with the right coaching cues within the technical model and applying some regressive exercises, improvements can be made as skills can be coached while capacities can be developed.